So this is one of the first quilts I did, actually. This is Mississippi, and so Mississippi is the state with the most number of lynchings. I've been an educator for many years and taught about history, and I've done quilting and art on the side for many years, but it took me a while to put the two of them together. That's all hand embroidery of the live oak. I was always interested in leaves and the power of the regeneration of trees, and I look at this tree outside my house every day and realize it was here before I was born. It'll be here after I die. They're here for a long time. So the notion of a leaf to represent every person came to me. This, for example, is North Carolina. So every state has a state tree, and so I decided that the state tree was going to be the organizing principle for the quilts. So right now I'm working on the Virginia quilt, and the state tree of Virginia is the Virginia dogwood. And this is an example of these leaves that I make. So these are cutouts from fabric, and then I draw on the leaf veins for each leaf. So each leaf, each pine needle, each sawable palm piece represents a person. And then on the back of each quilt, I write the names that those represent. As I write the name on the back of the quilt, I say the person's name. And I've said before, this whole project feels like one long prayer. And certainly that moment of saying the name aloud and actually remembering this person who, I couldn't count the number of times I've said to myself, this person was on this planet just like me and did not have a chance to stay alive because of this horror. And so that is this sort of spiritual moment of reverie and importance to me that I do this. So these are Kentucky. It was basically a border state, so it didn't have as much protection after the Civil War during Reconstruction. And so this quilt is only for the 146 persons who were lynched in Kentucky during Reconstruction. And on the back of this quilt, not only did I represent the persons in that time period, 1866 to 1879, lynched in Kentucky, but I also copied the petition that 5 African American men sent to the U.S. Congress trying to get help in Kentucky because there were so many lynchings going on. For each state, I do one quilt that's for the unknown persons in that state. I took one piece of fabric and I hand stamped. In most of the databases, these are sometimes called unnamed or unknown Negroes. So I stamped that as many times, I think. And then these leaves on here represent that number. And then for each pocket, I've collected a magnolia seed. I just collected them actually in my neighborhood. Then I put a map on the back of that quilt for all of the counties. It has this notion of what I call redemptive art. Like, how are we going to redeem ourselves from this ugly history and reconstitute an America that actually is a place where everybody doesn't have to worry about their children walking down the street. My daughter's African American, and she and her husband and their children do not walk safely in America on a daily basis. I know this because I hear what happens to them. And that's the essence of why I'm doing this project, is I really want people to understand the magnitude of this in our history and understand it went on everywhere, and really memorialize this in a way that people understand that this is not only our history, but it is our present.